Hey, this is Fred of Rapid Topography, and I just thought I'd do one video since I've done this drive like literally thousands of times. I thought I'd just do one video where I just narrated kind of what we're doing. So we'll just see how it goes. We're right now just driving eastbound on Rosedale Highway. This is the main corridor for the northwest side of Bakersfield. And most of the shops and everything are just about a mile from here if you kept going. But we're turning down onto a little residential street called Old Farm Road. And nice area in here, very quiet, kind of serene. And then we're going to make a left here on Palm Avenue. And I think this was probably planned by the city planners to be a main street. It's 4 lanes. The only thing is it's truncated along the way in several spots. One will come up to in about 1.5 miles where Calway comes through, because they had to make a bridge under the Amtrak line, and what it did, it kind of truncated this road. And then in back of us, by about 2 miles behind us to the west, there's also a couple places where it gets truncated. So I just think that they kind of decided not to, after a while, to make this a main road. You have Rosedale Highway just 1/2 mile to the left or to the north, and then you have Brimhall Highway, which is to the right. There's a very quiet street here, although it's big, but it really is kind of quiet most of the time. Right now, as I'm recording this, it's actually a good time of year. It's just middle of March, so it's starting to get sunny and warm in the middays to afternoons, but it's not overbearingly hot. Since I'm from the LA area, from Studio City, I'm still not used to how hot it gets here in the summer. It's insane. I think this area, Bakersfield and the Central Valley, and then areas like Phoenix, Arizona, are probably like those 2 of the hottest places. We're on Calway Drive here, so this is a main route. This used to be a 2-lane road way back when I was first coming through here in about 1996, 97, but they widened it. It also didn't go much past where we're going to be turning onto the West Side Parkway. In order to get to the southern part of the west side, you had to go around to another street. But then they built a bridge over the river, because the Kern River is actually just south of this area. And here we are, we're getting onto the West Side Parkway, which is really now California State Route 58. It was finished, I'm not sure when the West Side Parkway was finished. It was sometime when I wasn't noticing. I was probably very busy at Disney at that time, and but it was probably like in the mid 2000s, maybe somewhere in there. And then it used to, as you'll see from a lot of my older videos, just till recently, in order to connect to the 99, they hadn't finished that part off, which is called the Centennial Corridor. So what they did is, you'd have to get off at Truxtun Avenue, which is, I'll tell you when that's coming up, and then go east towards the city under the 99, go down one street called Oak Street, and then to California Street, go west, and then connect to the 99. It was just a huge hassle. So this is where I used to turn off, right there to the right. That would take you to Truxtun. That takes you to like City Hall and all the main parts of downtown Bakersfield to the east of us. Excuse my camera adjusting. I was just never quite happy with it as I went on this drive, so you'll see a few adjustments. And then but this is great here. So if you stayed in the left lanes here, you just go over the 99 and go straight out to Tehachapi, which is great now. And this makes it so much easier. When I go to LA, I can just get on this feeder lane and just go right on to the California State Route 99 and head on south. Now they don't have any lanes yet that go from eastbound where we were going to northbound 99. or southbound 99 to what, the opposite direction we're going on State Route 58. But you can come north and then get on the 58, go west, and you can do what we just did, which was east on 58 to south 99. And it just makes it so much easier for me. So you'll see we're going through, starting to get into the south part of Bakersfield. A lot of this has been widened. When I first started coming through here, I think it was still 3 lanes, but you had the center where that K-rail is was all, there was no K-rail. It was actually just like bushes and ivy, which you'll see further south from here, and I'll tell you when it starts, you'll see it. But it used to go all the way up into about here. I think right about White Lane. But they've been extending. What they're going to do is they're considering making the 99 Interstate 9 or Interstate 11 at some point, but they're not doing it just quite yet. They're starting to widen parts of the road, especially around Bakersfield. They would have to do a lot of work going through areas like Tulare. There's a lot of rocking and rolling you do up and down, side to side. So in order to make it, the requirements of an interstate are pretty strict, so they'd have to straighten a lot of it out. So I think that is the plan. It's just pretty far, still a few years ahead of us. And now we're really kind of coming to the last reaches of the southern part of Bakersfield here. And you get into a lot of agriculture and just open land here, mostly farming here. So, as many of you probably know from watching my videos, the 99 that we're on right now was kind of a workaround they did to get around the older parts of downtown, because when they wanted to make this a state route, they took the old US Route 99 and moved it here. US Route 99 right now is like about a mile east of us, maybe a little less, to the left of us, and it's on a street called Union Avenue. So that's what used to feed through Bakersfield. You've probably seen the Bakersfield sign that's like an arch. If you see it in blue and yellow, that sits by the just recently closed Buck Owens Crystal Palace. He brought that over to be part of his property there. But the original Bakersfield sign was much wider. It stretched across Union Avenue, old US Route 99, right at about, I think, just south of White Lane. And it was, I believe it was white with black font. And it was much, like I said, much wider because it's a much wider street. And so US Route 99 had lots of old hotels on it. Like when I first started coming up here, you could see all these really big hotels that were dilapidated. And I remember when I think one time once or twice I drove up Union Avenue, as I was exploring the areas, and I wondered, why are all these big hotels? That was before I figured out this whole thing about US Route 99. And because they sat there, they didn't look like they made any sense being on this road that was not used that much. But I could tell by how wide the road was that it probably was some sort of route in the old days. And that's when I figured out, I think I was reading the US Ridge Route book that I like a lot. I can put it in the notes here. And he was describing, the author, about how US Route 99 split off from the current 99 and went through downtown Bakersfield. There were several different iterations of the route, which you'll see on one of my videos that I did. But anyway, so this is the larger route. I think they redid this in 1972 or thereabouts, 1971. I remember going with my parents to Sequoia. We do that every year, and the first few years we did it, 1970, 71, I remember going up US Route 99 on Union Avenue because I used to lay in the back sometimes and look up, and I could see all the big, I don't know if they're like eucalyptus trees, they're just huge trees along that route. And now when I look at it, I go, oh, I remember, yeah, that's how we used to go. And then they built this workaround. Now, the ironic thing is that the city of Bakersfield has now stretched way out west of the 99. So even this newer route here, back where we came from, the west side, you can see where kind of like where I started the video, it goes out pretty far to Allen Road and a little further. There are a lot of residential houses out there, and they're still building west. You see big builders like Leonard just building huge acreages of previous farmland out there. So it's spreading west, the northwest basically. I think there's some building towards the south too they're doing. So you can see the green hills there on the right. Just looking nice after the rains. In just a few months it'll just be all dry. It's just how it is. And in these areas, there's other routes that go north and south here. You've probably seen on some of my videos that I go up Callaway that we were on before we got on the West Side Parkway. That turns in Old River Road south of Stockdale, and then it goes all the way down to, connects to the 5. So it's another way you can get down. There's several ways you can get up and down here. This is just kind of the simplest. A lot of people think when they're on the 5, Interstate 5, they're going by Bakersfield. They're really not. I mean, you could say they are passing it, but it's a good 12 miles from the 5 to the center of Bakersfield. I used to think that too, but the 99 is really how you get into Bakersfield. As we're going through here, you'll start seeing a lot of these outlets, these huge, also distribution centers, I should say. There's huge distribution centers they built out here that weren't here back in like 96, 97 when I was first coming through here. This is called Laval Road. There's great outlets out here. So if you're ever passing through here, just get off here, go east, and you'll see the outlets. You can get, like, I got some luggage that was really inexpensive. It was great. I mean, it's well made, but it was just like, would have cost a lot more in a store there, a regular store, but this outlet's great. And then pretty soon we're going to have the 5 come in and join us here. Oh, I think it did already. I wasn't paying attention. The 5 joined us already. And here's the scales right here. So the trucks have to stop through there. And as we approach, I love this view. Oh, you see that plane pass? I noticed that. You're going to see it above us. It's probably some sort of fire plane or something. But I love as these mountains approach. You can see that line in the middle. Do you see it right there on the very middle? That was the old ridge route. So the ridge route is actually aligned with the northbound lanes. So they built the 99, when they expanded it in 1933 is what they did a lot of expanding of the ridge route. Oh, sorry, the US 99. And particularly through this area here, through the Grapevine that we're heading up the hill right now. They did a lot of expansion and cut through a lot of this. They finally, in 1933, they got bigger earth movers so they could start to create a newer path. But the ridge route, as you'll see from some of my videos I've done, it used to go right through here, kind of meandered through here. So there's little pieces that are truncated on each side, mostly on the east side, that are still there if you look carefully. And but apparently it was a really pretty drive through here, although very long and circuitous. It was nice to be able to drive through here. There was like a creek and a lot of trees, and it's just all gone now because they first put the Route 99 and then the 5 over that, which expanded even further. But there's still parts of the route, of the actual ridge route, that as we get up here, I'll show you where that is. We're going to pass Dead Man's Curve pretty soon. It's going to be on the right. I think, if I remember, there's a stalled truck, like a white truck right in front of it. Here it is, coming up here. So it's on the right. It's like that little knob right there, and the truck's right in front of it. So that's where they call that Dead Man's Curve. It's part of the ridge route that's still there. It goes around that little berm, that hill. And it was just a part where they had done a pretty tight curve, and there was a sheer drop-off. So a lot of cars went off there. Now we're coming up into Lebec. We go under this bridge. There's a school on the left. That's where the ridge route continues on the left now. You can actually drive it, the old ridge route. As I said, when they built the Route 99, okay, right here, the ridge route crossed right here to the right. But it wasn't on that bridge. It just went over there. So there's the ridge route right now is actually, I think they call it Lebec Road now. It's on the right, and if you drive that, you'll see how kind of meandering and pretty it is. That went all the way down to the valley floor. It's so pretty. I think right about maybe a month from now, there'll be beautiful flowers blooming up here. To the left is a lake called Lake Castaic, which people get confused with Castaic Lake. It's a lake that just kind of forms. It's on the left. You can't see it right here, but we're in the Tejon Ranch right now, which is huge. Actually traded on the stock exchange. There's a lake there. It just fills up. It's very saltine when in dry, during the summers, but in the winters it fills up with water. It's just pretty when you're coming down the other direction. You can see it. Fraser Park is on our right there. The next exit takes you to like Wendy's and the travel center there. But if you go up Fraser Park Boulevard, you'll end up there like Mount Pinos and can't think of it right now, the club, what do they call it? I can't think of the name of it, but there's a community up there, big HOA community, Pine Mountain Club. Really, really beautiful areas in there. And you can get up to Lockwood Valley through there too, which we've taken a lot of pictures. We're going over the summit right now, as you can see. It's 4,144 feet above sea level. And then we're starting down now towards Gorman, which is a tiny little town here. Meanwhile, on the right, the ridge route is actually up in parts of the hills there, and it crossed just before we went through the summit to the left side, and it becomes Gorman Post Road. Now, Gorman Post Road is cool because Hitchcock shot on it for Psycho. When the woman gets pulled over, it's the portion of the road that actually starts going east, kind of along the 138 now. If you drive down it, you'll totally see. Like, watch the movie first, and then if you drive down Gorman Post Road, you'll totally see like exactly. It hasn't changed almost at all. On the right is Hungry Valley, so that's a recreation area. It's pretty big. You can enter from here from Gorman, just above Gorman, just north of Gorman, and then it goes all the way down to Templin Highway. And it's covering all that acreage on our right. Meanwhile, here's the 138 turnoff, so this would get you going towards like Lancaster and Palmdale. If you get off here, it would be, those cities I just talked about are to our left, like over our left shoulder. And then here we are. I know where all the CHP hideouts are, but there's a big one right here on the left. They're most often sitting in the center divider. Right coming up here, where it kind of widens a little bit. Right where that little gate is, right there. We're passing it right now. And then up here, so Templin Highway is going to be. I misspoke. The Hungry Valley ends at Smokey Bear Road, not Templin Highway. So here's Smokey Bear Road coming up. This is going to be the south end of Hungry Valley. It's also, if you watch some of my older videos, it's where the hot dog man used to set up his cart. It was like a Central Park hot dog guy. It was so funny. This guy, his name was George, and he was there every Saturday and Sunday, and he would sell hot dogs, and they were good Polish dogs. I mean, they're really well cooked. Get some chips and orange soda, whatever. It was so great. So that's the exit right here. And again, I misspoke when I said Templin Highway earlier, because that's in front of us, but that has nothing to do with this area here. And so this is also how you get into to Pyramid Lake. It's on the right. A lot of recreation there. You'll see a lot of people sailing or really motorboating and jet skiing and stuff like that. It's great. Right now the level is high on it. I just passed this just when I was doing this video. I could see the water level is pretty high. And when they the old US 99 used to run on our right side, and when you got off, if you got off at Templin Highway, it would, I'll show you in a few minutes. You can go north on it for a while until you hit the bottom of this Pyramid Lake, and if you got off at Smokey Bear Road, you could take it down to where you kind of check in to pay for your fees for the Pyramid Lake. And when they filled the lake up, it's been said in many places, books and such, that there was a town and a gas station, and they just basically just flooded it. So it'd be interesting to get some scuba gear on to see if any of that stuff's still down there. So the water from this lake, I believe, when it naturally flows, it goes to Lake Piru, which is along the 126. Like if you're going from Santa Clarita to Fillmore, let's say, you'd be taking the 126. That's where that canyon goes. It doesn't actually, this water wouldn't, let's say the dam burst, it wouldn't go to Santa Clarita, it would actually go to Lake Piru below it. I'm pretty sure about that. And here we are. We're now, if you can probably look through here right after this on the right, if you're driving, I mean, and you're actually past the lake now. So the old Route 99 is actually dry. It's actually laid out there. You can see little bits of it. And it goes all the way to Templin Highway. And part of it, if you got off of Templin Highway Road North, so you can see little bits. It just between these little it just depends on when you see this hill, you can see little bits of well, it's hard to see, but it's actually going along pretty close to us now on that ridge right there, on the low ridge. That's Route 99. So what you can do, like I said, you can get off at Templin Highway coming up, go north on it, and then there's a point where they consider it kind of like a park or something, so you have to park your car and you can walk the rest of it up to the dam, which I've done. I showed some photos, I think, of it on one of my videos, and it's cool just to see this old road. There's old bridges there. You can see one part of the bridge is like 1933, and then they improved it at some point. Maybe it was I don't remember if it was in the 60s. And then Templin Highway, I'm sorry, Route 66, Route 99, it actually gets buried right here where we are. It would have crossed to the left of us, Route 99, and it then meanders. It does this like crescent, but it's hard to find it. I showed it in one of my videos. It's really mostly covered up, and then it comes back out. You can't see it because where this ridge is on our left, but it comes out, and I found still some 99 asphalt. Like I did find some. I took video of it. So some of it, the remnants are still there, but it's very kind of few and far between. And but if you look at a map, you can kind of see the crescent that creates that old path where the US 99 went. So right now we're on the southbound lanes, obviously, and these were built later. This is when they built the 5, which was probably like the late 60s. They were constructing it, 68 maybe. And when you come up the 5, and this is called Violin Canyon. When you come up the 5 in the other direction, you're actually in the north and southbound lanes of old US Route 99. What they did is they just simply decided to put the southbound lanes on this side because there was a lot less grade to it. So that's why these lanes are really weird. They crisscross here. Like usually if you're going south, you'd be in the south side lanes, going north on the right side, So that's why this crisscross is really weird here, because this was kind of an afterthought. Meanwhile, the ridge route has been meandering all through the hills to our left, and it kind of dumps out here in Castaic. It goes all the way to where I can't remember if it's Parker Road. It's the second exit here, so not this one, but the second exit. You could get off, make a left. There's a Carl's Jr. there right now, and you can see where the old alignment then continues past the intersection to our left, and it continues along the freeway a little bit here, and then kind of gets covered over. It just kind of ends, but the 5 then covers it over here. Meanwhile, Route 99, US 99, is also under the 5 here, but it kind of peaks out in a couple places on the right. It's part of the old road, but people think the old road is like the old 99 or it's the old ridge route, but it's not all of it. It's just a couple places where the 99 actually existed at that time. I think part of it is right in here somewhere. I'd have to see it. I'd have to be on the old road. It's near where the CHP office is, and then a little further down. So it's just a couple places, and then it was like kind of incorporated into that, what they call the old road. which was like a newer kind of, you call it it's not really a service road, but it's a road just to carry traffic. But again, it doesn't include all the old 99. And we're coming towards where Magic Mountain is. And I haven't been there in a long time. I used to go on the Colossus and Revolution. I think when the movie Roller Coaster came out, I was totally into, like, I wanted to go on the Revolution because they showed it in the movie, so I was going there all the time. Again, from Studio City, it wasn't a very far drive up here, and most of this was a lot of ranch land back when I was a kid. There was also Indian Dunes a little further south in Newhall, which was a recreation place. People used to ride their motorcycles and ATVs, whatever they were called at that time, dune buggies. And a friend of mine got in a pretty bad accident there, went through the windshield and got helicoptered to I think it was called Olive View Hospital in Burbank. It was on Olive and Glen Oaks, but that's now an assisted living. That's really kind of the main thing that I remember about Indian Dunes. So I have kind of like a negative thing about it just because my friend got hurt there. I'd never been there myself. So we're coming into, now we're starting to get into Newhall here. And most of the U.S. Route 99 is under S. It does start to, even though the old road is on our right, that's not it. But I'll tell you, I think it's coming up in this curve that the Route 99, somewhere in here, the old route actually continues on our right now. And if you drive it, you can feel it. It's like older, you know. And it stays on our right on the west side of the freeway, and then it cuts under, I think up in this curve here somewhere, it cuts under to the left. And then it ends up down right where Sierra Highway comes into San Fernando Road. So that's where, like, that intersection of three, it's really two streets, but three named streets comes together. So this is called the Newhall Grade. So we're going to start going down it. Whenever we drove through here, my dad had to point out to me every single time, look at the California Aqueduct, it's coming down the hill. So we'd watch all the water. I always thought it'd make a good log ride, but it's just, I think it's pretty powerful in there. I wouldn't suggest anybody go in it. It'd be illegal. I think there's actually two funnels too that make up the California Aqueduct coming through, plus they've got pipes going underwater. It's a huge system. Most of that water, I think, comes from the Owens Valley, where when you're in Bakersfield and all that stuff, that's the State Water Project and the Central Valley Water Project. So there's like several places where California moves a lot of water. It's probably one of the largest water systems in the world, I would think, because California is such a big state, and you have all the water coming out of the Sacramento River in the Sacramento Valley, the North Central Valley, and then some of it gets, let off on the ocean or whatever, but then some gets piped down into these areas to the south, like the whole Kern County and all those other counties, Tulare County, for farming and agriculture. We're going to pop onto the 405 now, Interstate 405. We just passed the Van Norman Dam. That was it used to be an earthen dam. It was much bigger. And when the 71 quake hit, 1971, we were living up in the Hollywood Hills yet. We hadn't moved to Studio City. And it was a big earthquake. And apparently, it was only like half full. They had drained part of it. But if it had been full, it would have, because it did break, but it ruptured at a place where the water didn't come out. But if it had been full that day when that earthquake happened, they said hundreds of thousands of people would have died in the San Fernando Valley. So what they did, I don't know if it was like the Army Corps of Engineers who did it, but they kind of removed that dam and then put a smaller concrete dam, which is now the Van Norman Dam. The rest of that area, like where there's LAPD training and stuff, I think, a lot of that had been part of the older, bigger dam. Now we just passed, I got to see what street. We may have already passed it, but if we pass Roscoe, yeah, it's hard to see, but that's where Busch Gardens used to be when I was a kid. It was another like amusement park, and you go on log rides and take a little gondola through the beer making area, and you can watch them making beer and filling the cisterns or whatever with beer. But I found out through Hugh Hauser, which I didn't know, that the original Busch Gardens was up in like Pasadena, and it kind of got moved. It wasn't a beer making area; it was actually gardens, and then somehow that name got transferred into the Anheuser-Busch facility. So that's a whole nother thing. You should, if you're interested in that, find the Hugh Hauser episode on that. It's really interesting. I went to Pasadena once to kind of chase it down, and I saw where there are these garden walls and stuff that are still there. We're coming up to Burbank Boulevard, I think, pretty soon. There's this really bad bump we always have to go through. It's right here, coming out, right? This one, right here. Really bad. So, they got to fix that. It's been there for years. Okay, so, we're going over now to get ready to go on US 101. And to our right is the Balboa recreation center, but it's also part of a huge storm dam, for storm runoff and all that. So it's just this huge area. And when it gets really stormy, what they do is they actually close off Burbank Boulevard that goes through it, and you'll see it gets just flooded. It's just certain times when it gets really, really a lot of rain. But it's just interesting, all the baseball fields and everything, they just get flooded. They have so many baseball diamonds there. I looked at a map not long ago, and I was amazed. We're on U.S. Route 101 southbound now, which is really going eastbound. And this is my old haunt. I know this very well. We get off at Woodman Avenue. Usually to go to, by the way, we're going to Kearney's, just in case you're wondering. Why else would you come to L.A. but to go to Kearney's? So usually I get off at Coldwater Canyon, but I felt like driving a little bit on both Woodman and also Ventura Boulevard, just for like a mile. So that's why I'm getting off a little early here. Woodman Avenue has always been kind of like a nice street. It's a boulevard, but it's kind of a little more gentle. Coldwater Canyon's really narrow, and it's a little harder to drive. Okay, so here we go. Let's get off. And then the Sherman Oaks Fashion Square is to our left. It's right on the other side of the freeway, which is a great mall. And man, there's so many things around here that I knew that don't exist anymore. Like there was an Orange Julius as we come up to this intersection. Later at Kentucky Fried Chicken. I worked, when I was at USC, I worked at Domino's Pizza just right to our left by that liquor store right there, which that Sherman Oaks Domino's is now, I think, on Van Nuys Boulevard or somewhere. But I used to do all my deliveries up through these hills using the Thomas Guide. I love Antonio's Pizza on the left. It's right there with the boot. And then it's the Great Greek is coming up on the right, and Maria's Kitchen on the left. These are great restaurants. I mean, this is the one thing that if you move out of LA, you really miss. Unless you go to New York, of course, because they have a lot of great dining there. But it's all the restaurants that are open later here. In the Central Valley, at least in Bakersfield, everything closes at 9 pretty much. So you have to redo your night. Now, interesting thing I found out, this little Ventura Boulevard on the right, do you see it? That was actually the original alignment for Ventura Boulevard. And when they expanded it, they just moved it over. So that's the only remaining portion there. I always wondered why they had built it that way. So that street that's about to end coming up here on the right was the original alignment. Used to be a Denny's on our left. Used to be Hughes Market on our right, which is Ralph's now. And Sportsman's Lodge on our left here. They used to do fishing there. It was a much bigger place back in the 1950s. And then the Kirkwood complex is right here. So you have Kirkwood Bowl, which is something else now. There used to be tennis courts here. And then where we're turning into Kearney's used to be miniature golf course. So I was playing here all the time. I watched them bring the trains in with cranes. I was on my bike. I think it was about 1980 for Kearney's. And I've never stopped coming. Thank you for joining me.
Me say meow meow.
If you like what you saw, please give the subscribe button a pop and check out another video here.